Zaid Jalani of The Intercept wrote a phenomenal article about how Bernie Sanders actually pushed President Obama to the left on the issue of Social Security. So in 2012, Obama's administration effectively argued to cut Social Security insurance by recalculating the way cost of living adjustments are made. Now, let me remind you that this was after he promised to not cut Social Security. So Jelani explains, the administration's budget proposed using the so-called chained consumer price index formula to calculate benefits instead, which would slow the rate of benefit increases in the future so as to reduce overall spending. Social Security Works estimated that under the chained CPI, the average beneficiary who just started receiving benefits would receive a yearly benefit $653 lower after 10 years. Now, this is what he said recently about Social Security. We can't afford to weaken Social Security. We should be strengthening Social Security, and not only do we need to strengthen its long-term health, it's time we finally made Social Security more generous and increased its benefits so that today's retirees and future generations get the dignified retirement that they've earned. So why is it the case that President Obama had a change of heart? Well, there's two reasons. First is that more than 2 million people signed a petition calling for him not to use the consumer price index formula. And the second reason is Bernie Sanders. He vowed to do everything in my power to block President Obama's proposal to cut benefits for Social Security recipients through a chained consumer price index. Then, Bernie Sanders mobilized a wide coalition of organizations including veterans, women's rights groups, and labor unions to oppose chained CPI. Under this intense activist pressure, the White House was unable to convince its own allies in Congress that this change was worth the political costs. The next year, the chained CPI was quietly dropped from Obama's budget proposal. Now, the author also notes that Bernie Sanders got Hillary Clinton to move to the left as well, because at first she initially was not in favor of lifting the cap of taxable income on Social Security, and now she changed her mind on that. She is in favor of expanding Social Security. Now, an example of how he got Hillary to switch was he tweeted out, "I urge Secretary Clinton to join me in saying loudly and clearly that we will never cut Social Security," and she replied by saying, "I won't cut Social Security. As always, I'll defend it and I'll expand it." Enough with the false innuendos. But Bernie Sanders actually had a real reason not to trust Hillary Clinton. I've said it before, and I've stated that there are two main reasons why you can't trust Hillary Clinton with your Social Security. Now, the first is because, much like Bill Clinton, Hillary Clinton is in bed with Wall Street, and like the Clintons have always done, they are out to appease their donors. And Bill Clinton actually tried to fully privatize Social Security. That's further than Bush wanted to go. Bush only wanted to partially privatize Social Security. Bill Clinton wanted to just fully privatize it, but thankfully, the Monica Lewinsky scandal actually stopped him from doing that because he no longer had the political capital to take on such a huge battle that would obviously make a lot of people hate him. So that stopped him. So she also said that she wants to means test Social Security. Let's talk about the implications of that for a minute. So if you means test Social Security, what that means is you increase the amount of benefits given to people on the bottom, the poorest people, and you decrease the amount of benefits given to people at the top. So effectively, it becomes a welfare program. Now, if you know anything about the polls in America, welfare programs do not poll very well. So by means testing Social Security and making it into a welfare program, you undermine public support for Social Security, because right now it is very, very popular. You can't touch Social Security. It's the only reason why any politician who's tried has failed to privatize it, because the public really likes it. There is mass outrage anytime they try to touch Social Security. And trust me, they want to do it because their donors are hounding them to privatize Social Security because they could profit off of it. Wall Street would love it. The financial services industry has been trying to do this for decades now, ever since the Reagan Revolution, but they failed because Social Security is our most popular social program. Now, currently, it's not a welfare program, but Hillary Clinton means testing would make it into a welfare program, and that would obviously undermine public support. Now, this isn't conspiratorial. You could read the book Social Insecurity, and it talks about this has been the direct, explicit strategy of people in the financial services industry. The first step is to undermine public support of Social Security. When you do that, you make it into a welfare program, and then you propose the solution to privatize it, thus getting what they want, undermining Social Security. And if you privatize it, you basically destroy Social Security. Privatizing Social Security would be a disaster. I don't have to spell that out for anyone. It's common sense. And so when Hillary Clinton talks about increasing benefits for the poorest people, you really have to be careful. Because even though that sounds good on paper, in theory, she's actually doing what the financial services industry wants her to do. Now, I made a video about this, more thoroughly explaining it. I'll link to that in the description box, because I talk about why we can't trust Hillary Clinton with our Social Security. So again, if you disagree with me, that's fine. Read the book. It was written by academics, Social Insecurity. It explains that they have been very sneaky. That is, the politicians, the financial services industry, in trying to privatize Social Security. Don't let them touch it. The only thing they can do is raise the cap. That's how you save and protect Social Security. You expand benefits. That's the only thing that we should allow them to do. And if they start talking about privatizing Social Security or means testing Social Security, you need to be really, really skeptical.